Did you ever see a school career advisor? What did they tell you were going to be? Can you remember? Or what you should be?
Don't know, to be honest. Dinner lady?
Yeah. That is brilliant. For all of you that don't know, yes, Andy is a top 5 professional trader in the world. He's worked on some of the biggest banks and trading floors for hedge funds in London, but he's also moonlighted as a dinner lady while he was at university. So you'll have to watch some of our shows on that to understand the full story, but it is hilarious. Guaranteed, if you can find it, it is in the group somewhere. So let's jump to professional trade setup of the week by former dinner lady and professional trader, Mr. Andy Demi. Let's cut to the news and the high impact news. So what are you looking at from the news this week that would make you interested in then further exploring a currency pair? And if you can just give us a quick professional market analysis of the news and what you would be looking for, that would be superb, sir.
No worries. Yeah, so I use Forex Factory to just have a look to see what's coming out. Now, the way I kind of use the news is just to kind of understand where volatility might come in. It doesn't mean that volatility is only going to be in, that particular currency, but it's just good to be aware that actually, especially if you've got more than one news event for a currency, it's more likely to have a big move. So the thing that stands out this week is there's a lot of data coming out for the dollar. So we have core retail sales coming out tomorrow at 1:30 British Standard Time, I believe that is. And core retail sales, that's an important number right now because of everything that's been going on in the world, to see how the shops have reacted. Has there been a change, compared to pre-lockdown and so on? Are people going back and spending money? So we have, obviously, as expected, the previous number was down 0.8%. It's forecast to be up. So what we really want to see for dollar strength is at least 0.4. Anything in the middle would just be kind of, the dollar's not going to do too much. So if it comes above 0.4, this is going to be great for the trade idea that I've got today. And then on Wednesday, we've got the FOMC statement, which is obviously very important, where we get an idea of future interest rate movements. And again, it's a good reflection of what's happening in the economy. And then you can kind of see we've got some news coming out from the commodity currency. So we have the Canadian governor speaking at 11:30 on Wednesday night. So you just got to be careful if you've got a position open on the CAD and the Kiwi GDP. GDP is a big one because it only comes out every quarter. So anything that is quarterly means that there's a lot of time, as opposed to weekly or monthly, there's a lot of time for them to get the news wrong. So the forecast is 0.5, but obviously, being that it's a quarter, this number could be very wrong. And that's why with GDP, you can get quite a big variation and therefore quite a bit of volatility. So I would definitely kind of keep an eye on that if you're looking at the Kiwi. And then finally, we have Governor Lowe speaking for Australia, employment numbers coming out as well on Thursday during the early hours for us in the UK. And then the SMB press conference. So, for me, like my first kind of go-to is the dollar. I would want to look at the majors to see what's around. And, I prefer trading currencies that don't have multiple news events. So if, for example, we were looking at the dollar against the euro, I'd rather we don't have multiple euro events because it can really mess up your trade. So in this situation, I think the euro dollar is a good pair. We've got enough data coming out Tuesday, Wednesday that we could get a nice move. And actually, if we can get filled before this price, before this data, then that would be great. So with that being said, I'm going to just bring in the chart, and I'll just kind of show you what's going on here on the euro. So the euro is essentially in a, we just put what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to keep this, just move the taskbar here, 1 sec. Right, okay. So, I mean, the best place to start with something like this is the weekly chart. So I already put in my lines, and you can kind of see here that we've hit a bit of a roadblock here on the weekly chart. So you can see the market has hit a double level here, which I identified using our support and resistance tool. And you can see it's kind of reacted here in the past. It's dropped before, it's done a nice rejection here. So for me, I'm looking for a drop in the euro versus the dollar, so dollar strength to come in, which I'm hoping for a pullback on, and I'll just show you essentially what I'm looking for. So let's kind of have a look and see what the daily levels are here. So what I'm basically looking at here is, you know, where is the market reacting multiple times? Well, here is a good point. So you can kind of see that around, let me just bring in my pen here. Around this area here, can everybody see how reactive it is? So you've got multiple reaction levels, right? Rejection levels. And we've kind of gone down, but if you look at this kind of price action here, it is quite rangy. Okay, so it hasn't really got going yet. So, you know, you could definitely say that is a possibility that it could go up before it goes down. And so I would be looking to get in short at a better price. So if we go over to the 4-hour chart, I did identify some nice channel support and resistance lines, which I've taken, and if you can see here, we've actually broken this this level, and you can see how nice and reactive it is. We've broken it, and so, you know, what you can do as well is you can also put in your, there's a channel there, but I'm not going to focus on that right now. I'm going to put in my 4-hour levels here, and we're going to identify basically some levels that we can short.
So just to clarify, sorry, mate, because I know we get quite a few questions on this. These lines from the indicators that you've created, they're based on major kind of institutional levels, right? So where are the main support and resistance areas over many, many years or many, many time periods? Where are the most common pivot points or support and resistance levels based on what the institutions are looking at, right?
Exactly, yeah. So it's been designed with the same kind of rules. So, but what you want to kind of do is the work that we just did there allows you to identify, well, which one should I go for? Should I go for this one or this one? What you kind of want to see as well is if you're going to pick one and you are somebody who wants to get the best possible price, you'd go for this one. Also, there's a big gap here. So that basically means that there's not too much interest between here and here. So if you want to do this as a swing trade, this would be your best kind of sell zone. Now, what you can also do, if you know how, is you can scale in. So you can scale in some there and some there. And if you're doing this as a swing trade, guys, you probably want to put your stop above these highs. So if you're looking for this to come down, then you'll probably, that's the safe place to do it. Now, what I normally recommend people do with that, so if you want to be quite passive, you want to hold this for a little while, is you can basically try and get your price, and then once you take out this low like that, then you move your stop down. So you can put it behind a swing or behind that swing and basically protect your account. But because you're basically selling at a point that it's reversing, it could get messy. So sometimes you could do it could do that. So by just kind of having your stop a little bit higher, it allows you to protect yourself. And if you kind of look over here, this institutional level comes in about 121.70 on the top end. And if we go back onto the daily, that's pretty similar to that. But what I particularly like here is the fact that you're basically potentially, depending on how long it takes, potentially you're testing this line here, which, as you can see, is very reactive. So, and then if you channel this up, you're you're not too far from, essentially that channel resistance there as well. But the reality is like, if you're playing the short, you don't really need it to go back up there, because you kind of want the sellers to be stepping in either here or here to catch this move down. As a little side note as well, you can also look at the DTR if you want to do a day trade. So if we don't know, yeah. So today, the expected high of the day matches up quite nicely with this first level here, right? So for those that like to day trade, I'd be looking at that as a first reaction. So 121.14, you could just scalp it a little bit down, possibly even back down to here. And if you kind of want confirmation, then again, without kind of going into too much detail, you can also, hold on. You can also do something like this, where you can just let it do its thing. And then once it breaks this line, then you sell here, right? I prefer to get in at high prices, but if you're somebody who likes momentum, you could be looking to sell some in that kind of fashion there, or whenever it breaks it. All right, guys. I think that's kind of it, really.
Mate, even so, if you're watching this on the replay, Andy has got man flu today. So even with that, it's mic drop time, mate. That is awesome. Just a few simple lines to the naked eye, but actually there's a lot of confluence in there, and there's a lot of technical skill. So maybe worth rewatching that video just to see the breakdown, see if you can do it yourselves, guys, and see if you can start to see what Andy's talking about. Obviously, with the information that we've talked about, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, and how that can start to play in your psychology and your psyche, then you're starting to add to your bag of tricks. So look, I know we were going to keep this short and sweet today, but we've kind of gone over the 45-minute mark. I want to make sure we've got enough gas in the tank, because we are coming back live tomorrow for Crypto Like a Pro, our show where we talk all things cryptos. So with that being said, on today's show, let's tie up the loose ends around the FX content. Is there anything else you want to say, mate?
No, I think this voice needs to rest now, mate, to be honest.
Awesome. Okay.
Even worse tomorrow.
Perfect. That's awesome. So look, guys, we're going to bounce. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show today. We're going to love you and leave you with our usual theme tune, Bella Ciao. Not religious, not political. It's because this is the legal way to learn how to rob a bank without getting arrested. That's the whole reason why we play this song.
My kids love this song, by the way.
What was that, mate?
My kids absolutely love this song. They absolutely love it. They sing it as well.
Mate, we have to get them to do a live version one time. That would be awesome.
Definitely.
Le genti che passeranno, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao.